talk about yourself, this is why. Your brand still feels generic because you've never named the thing that has always made people choose you. That's the real problem, not your talent, not your experience, not your work. You do not need reinvention. You need recognition. You need to finally name what has been true about you all along. That is the most important thing I know because every single client I've ever worked with had already been living there only for years before we ever talked. Everyone, not almost everyone, everyone. And that's the pattern. The only is not invented in a one-on-one session with me. It's not built from scratch. It's not some clever branding trick we cook up because it sounds good. It's named. That is different. And that difference matters because most people think they need reinvention. Am I speaking to you? You need a new angle? You need a new niche, a new title, a new bio, a new strategy. But what you actually need is recognition. Recognition of that thread that has already been there in your career. Recognition of the thing you've been doing so long, it feels ordinary to you. Recognition of the part of your story you have been overlooking, downplaying, or treating like background noise. That is where your only usually lives. And I saw it again and again just this week, the HR call. 22 years of making other people famous. Not because I was not talented, because being visible was the job, the instinct to find the story, shape the message, and make other people impossible to ignore. That was there the whole time. I just not had a name for it until I left. The worst house in the city, right? On day 2, the neighbors hugged us. That hug hit something in me I'd not felt in 20 plus years of television. And the reason I do this work now, the real reason, the one that separates me from everyone else teaching branding, that was in that hug. I just not named it yet. And a client who went through a season of chaos and came out with the truth he could finally use to help other people. Another client who had spent years living the lesson that would one day become his business. And a client who thought two parts of his life had nothing to do with each other until we found that thread over and over and over again. Same pattern. The only was already there. It was just unnamed. And that is what I need more people to understand. I need you to understand that the only is not something I hand you. It's not something I invent for you. My job is not to create something new for you. My job is to listen until the thing that has already been there becomes impossible to ignore. And then put words on it. That's the work, not reinvention. Sorry, not invention, recognition, not louder, clearer. Because once something gets named, everything downstream changes. And I've watched this happen too many times not to believe it deeply. When it gets named, people do not actually react with hype. You react with relief. That's the word. Relief. Like something you've been carrying quietly for years just finally has a label. Oh, that's what it is. It's been there the whole time. And once that happens, everything gets easier. The introduction stops feeling like a performance. The bio stops feeling painful to write. The content stops sounding broad. The pricing conversation starts from a different place. The right clients start finding you because now you have something real to grab onto. None of that happens because you got louder. It happens because you got clearer. That is what clarity does. It turns background noise into a signal. If you're my person, this matters because my person is smart, experienced, accomplished. You've lived some life. You've built some things. You've learned some hard lessons. You're not empty. You're not shallow. You're not missing any substance whatsoever. But when it's time to explain what makes you different, you still go vague. You still go broad. You still reach for the polished version. And that's why your brand feels flatter than it should. Not because you're not special, because you have never named the thing that actually makes people choose you. You are still treating it like background noise. That old chapter, that weird chapter, that hard chapter, the thing you've always done naturally. the instinct you do not think counts because it comes too easy. That is usually the thing. That is usually the $2 bill, the part that feels ordinary to you because you've been living it your whole life. But from the outside, that is what makes people remember you. And that's why I built FindYourOnly.app. That's FindYourOnly.app because you don't need another fake reinvention. You don't need more noise. You don't need a more polished version of a message that still does not feel true. You need language for the thing that has always made you different. You need words for the part of you your dream client is already looking for. That is what this is for. FindYourOnly.app. Go to FindYourOnly.app. It's 8 questions. It's free. And it's going to take you under 8 minutes. It's going to help you turn the thing that's always made you different into language your dream client can actually feel. And no, do not bring the polished version to FindYourOnly.app. Bring the real one. That chapter that didn't make the LinkedIn profile, the experience that felt too personal, the thing that you've always done that seems ordinary to you, the part you have never seen clearly because you've been so close to it. That is what I'm looking for. Dollar bills compete, and there are a lot of them. But a $2 bill gets remembered. Here's the best part. I'm telling you, you already have the $2 bill. You do. You aren't looking for a new one. You're naming the one that has been in your pocket the entire time. If your brand, your message still feels too broad, too generic, too polished, too forgettable, I want you to do something right now. You've heard me speak about this, but I know so many of you haven't gone to it. Go to FindYourOnly.app. That's FindYourOnly.app and start there. Because the only is not something you create. It's something you finally stop ignoring. FindYourOnly.app, 8 questions. It's free in under 8 minutes. Be the $2 bill. Be the only.